Okay, share screen. Share. There. Good. Okay. Participants. Hi, kids. I see we have people joining. Very good. All right.
What?
Hi.
Hi, Mr. Lucasco.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm okay. Good morning. Nice to see you. I'm trying to see if everybody can get admitted here. Haley and James and Laura. I think they are. They got this new feature where you admit people, for security purposes. So I'm just trying to make sure everybody's in here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mute you kids for a little bit here. Okay, so I'm going to mute kids who are in right now. So I'm going to mute you while I describe today's. Well, I'm going to describe the assignment that's due on Tuesday, and then I'll take questions on others. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. All right. I'm assuming everybody can see my screen. And I think I've enabled the chat feature. Okay. So I think everybody can chat. Okay. Yep. There's people saying hello. Awesome. Okay. So feel free. I'm going to type in here. Feel free to ask me questions or make comments as I go. Uh, After I am done presenting the assignment, I will give you the ability to talk to me. Okay. And I'll be admitting people, like there are kids joining and admitting and things like that. So, all right. Let's see. I want to be able to see everybody here. Okay. Morgan. Nice. A lot of kids joining. Very good. Okay. So, kids, I really appreciate your efforts on stuff, and I love the comments on the lectures. I wish we were discussing them in person. I'm actually probably lecturing more with this distance learning, right? Because I've only got a couple days that I can do things. So, I just found myself like just kept adding to that lecture last week, which was maybe not good, but I just feel like I have to try and at least explain as much as I can to kids on the limited days that I have. So, and I'm giving less assignments, but I do want to give some more creative assignments going forward, stuff that makes you think. I don't want it just to be all text busy work. Okay. So, what I've done is I've given you an assignment that we would have done in class as groups. And if you look at the instructions, you can work with other kids on this. You see where it says groups of 2 or 3 there. Okay. But, make sure you keep distance, keep your distance, right? We're still distancing, social distancing. But if you want to talk by phone or email with other kids, that's fine. Um, whatever you want to do. So what I've got here for you is a reading. Okay. And I'm going to open up that reading here. At least I hope. Okay. So what it is a 2-page reading. Now, hopefully you've had a chance to view my lecture. Almost all of you commented on it, which was great. And the comments were good. I enjoyed them. Um, hopefully you've had a chance to view that lecture and learn a little about Cesar Chavez and the Hispanic American Civil Rights Movement. This is a two-page excerpt from a book called The Fight in the Fields. And it's Cesar Chavez's efforts to um, lead a nationwide boycott of grapes. Okay. And so the workers, the agricultural workers, were boycotting grapes in order to improve conditions in agricultural work. Think Montgomery bus boycott, right? Which was very successful. Okay. So this is kind of like that, but nationwide. All right. So this two-page reading, I thought it was pretty good. There are a few typos in it. Okay. But I thought it was pretty good from the website I got it from. So read through that. And what I've also done, if you want my explanation of things, which I guess I'm kind of doing right now, but if you want my explanation of things, I did a read aloud. So what I did is, and I want to make sure I'm recording this here. Give me a second. Am I recording this? Where's that? Okay, good. I am recording. Sorry, I wanted to make sure I was recording this. Anyway, what I did is I put a great boycott. What I did is I did a read aloud of the reading. So I read through it. And as I read through it, I would pause and explain things. Okay. So I would pause and explain, remind you maybe what this word means, or tell you about a newspaper they mentioned, and give you some tips for answering the questions. So if you find that helpful, if you don't feel like you need to do it, don't do it. But if you feel like you need to, it's 22 minutes long. It's another chance to listen to me a little bit. Okay. So once you read that, here's what I want you to do. There's some questions to answer. Okay. Now, kids, you should know what a boycott is, right? So hopefully you can answer that question and we can talk about it now if you want. Okay. You should know some examples of a boycott too. I just mentioned one. Okay. Um, when you get to question two is a little bit tricky. There's a dialogue in there in the reading. There's a dialogue in the reading. I'm going to go back to that for a second. There's a dialogue in the reading right here. Okay, so question two deals with this dialogue. And basically what it's dealing with is Cesar Chavez is asked by his helpers, how do we do a boycott? And he's like, I really don't know, but get him to stop eating grapes. So the question is asking, what do you think about that leadership style where maybe he's not giving a lot of suggestions, but he's trusting people to carry out the work? So question two is a little bit tricky with that, but there's a lot of ways you can answer it. And obviously feel free to continue to ask me questions after this session. And I see some people already putting up some questions. So I'll get to those in a second. That's awesome. Okay. As you do the reading, if you look at question three, as you do it, and maybe some of you have done it already, I assigned it this morning, but as you do it, look for people who are helping out Al and Elena Rojas. There's a lot of people who help them out. Name some of them. Okay. Remember, a boycott can only be successful if a lot of people participate in it. Okay. And this is a nationwide one. All right. For number four, it's going to talk about what side the United States government take in the boycott. Look for what the FBI did and look for what the US military did. That'll help you with that question. And the key to that is the US government helping this boycott or are they hurting it? Okay, so take a look at that. Now for the tricky part. On page two, this is where I'm going to kind of get you to think a little bit. And as I mentioned, you can work with a partner on this from a distance. You can work with two other people on this from a distance, right? Okay, but I want you to think about, what if something happens in your life, or what if there's an issue that you really care about and you want to make change and improve the conditions affecting that issue. Maybe you're upset about what a company or something is doing. You guys are leaders, right? You could lead a boycott, okay? And this isn't as tough as it sounds. For the first one, you're going to take a few minutes to develop a list of products or companies that you might want to boycott. And maybe that sounds tough, but if you do some research, or you go online, you may surprise you about what companies do. Think about maybe ways in which companies are hurting the environment. Think about maybe ways in which companies can improve labor conditions. Maybe think about ways in which companies could improve their products so they're more healthy. Maybe think about the ways some companies treat animals, right? Some of that's not good. Okay. So look at some of that stuff. I want you to try and come up with three here. So push yourself a little bit. See if you can find three companies that should be boycotted for whatever reason. And it may even be some companies you like. You may find out some things you don't want to when you do this, but it's good to be informed. Okay. Now, once you do that, I want you to pick one and then use that one to answer the other questions. Okay. And once again, you can talk to your classmates on this. So you want to look at people that'll help you with your boycott. So who might help you, right? Who could you contact? So you may have to do some little bit of research here. Who might help you? Who might have the same concerns as you do about the company that you're looking at? Okay. There's going to be people against you. All right. Who would not like that you're carrying out this boycott? Okay. Who would not like that you're carrying out this boycott? Now, obviously, one of those is going to be the company, but maybe it's other people associated with the company who are relying upon the company's success, or people who are connected to the company. Maybe it's certain politicians who really support the company, right? So there are groups that you can hear. Now, if you look, they are asking for plural here. So I don't know that it's that tough. If you can come up with, two groups that might help, two groups of people that might help you for number two, and two groups of people that might be against you for number three, you're good. Okay. And then four, future leaders, right? How would you organize and publicize your boycott? Okay. And it's 2020, kids, and we have a tremendous ability, even in this social distancing climate we're in right now. We have tremendous ability to publicize our causes, and you guys probably know that better than I do. So just think about that. So if I was to carry out a boycott, how would I get the word out? So that's what number four is. And kids, this is not due until the end of the day on Tuesday. So, I mean, you might be able to knock it out today if you want to, and then you're done for a little while. But if you need time and you want to ask me for help, and Ms. Lacasco, I need explanation about this again, that is totally fine. I like teaching you and I miss teaching you. Okay, I want to take a look at the questions in the chat over here. Okay. So James said, is Fight in the Fields a book all about different boycotts, or is it just about the Great Boycott? I believe the Fight in the Fields is, I haven't read the book, okay, but I believe the book is about the entire Hispanic American farm laborers, civil rights or labor movement. And the Great Boycott is one part of that book. But I believe that book is about all that. You know what? I should add that book to my book list for the first semester paper. That would be a good one to put on there. A great question, James. Great questions. Okay. If you make up the boycott, can the boycott be a made up problem? uh, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, why not? As long as you fulfill the assignment, it'd be pretty creative on your part, and maybe a neat way to do so. And I just want you to show me that maybe you could figure out how to do this, just in case you ever have to, right? And democracy is about representing yourself and tackling problems, and at times caring for others. So yeah, yeah, I guess you can make one up. Just make sure you put a good effort into it. That's fine. Um, let's see. Is that the only question I have so far? Maybe that is. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do, kids, or I'm going to try to do, and I'm still getting the hang of this. Okay. I've participated in just a few of them now. Have I admitted everybody who needs to be admitted? I think everybody has. So what I'm going to try to do here is give people to the ability to talk to me. Okay. So what I want you to do is, when I talk to you, is if you could mute yourself when you're not talking, okay, and then talk to me when you need to, that's fine, if that makes sense. So unmute yourself when you want to talk, mute yourself when you're not talking, because what I didn't like about the last time I did one of these with a class, and I don't know if it was you guys, but last time I did one of these with classes, there were a lot of people talking at once, and it was a little chaotic. I didn't really like it that much. So just unmute yourself when you need to talk to me. So I'm going to unmute you, which I think means you'll be able to talk to me. Okay. All right. Anybody there? Does anybody have a question concerning this assignment? And if you don't want to vocalize it, you can type it in the chat. That's fine. Okay. Any questions or concerns on that assignment? Because if not, I want to explain a couple more things.
I have a question.
I might have an answer.
Do we have to have a partner for this, or can we do it by ourselves?
You can totally do it by yourself, James. The only
Okay.
reason I let kids have a partner is for something like this, sometimes it's good to share ideas. You know, maybe somebody's like, man, I don't know what to boycott. And if we were in class right now, you would be doing this in small groups. I would have put you in small groups and say, hey, come up with something, and you're going to present it to the class. And, you know, unfortunately, we're not in that situation. So,
Thanks.
no, you do not have to do it with a partner. That's totally fine. Okay, hey, there's everybody. I was wondering why I can only see one person. Okay, there, that's better. Any other questions about that assignment? Okay, I want to talk about the graphic organizer. And if you have a question about that assignment, it pops up, feel free to do that. But I want to talk about the graphic organizer, which is due at the end of the day today. So I hope that wasn't confusing with dates and stuff. I'm trying to stick with the 2-day, 2-3 assignments a week thing, which the thing I don't like about that is it's limiting how much content we can cover, but I'm trying to stick with it. So you've got to the end of the day to turn that in. And remember, due dates are flexible right now anyway. So, you know, but when you get stuff in, I'll grade it. But with the graphic organizer, see if I can get to that here. Okay, gotta go here. Click on that. And click on the instructions. And click on that. Okay, with that, a lot of you have turned in already and done a great job. The only thing that I want you to think about is these are designed so that they kind of have you take your own notes on what you're reading. Okay. So like what some of you are doing is some of you are like putting under Native Americans, you're just putting AIM or American Indian Movement, which is good. That's correct. But you need to tell me a little bit more about them. Like what are they doing? Okay. Because that is a group they organized, right? What did they organize? What were they trying to do? What was their purpose? Okay. So that's a mistake that I'm noticing some of you are making. This isn't an essay by any means, but you still got to think about Mr. No Clue a little bit when you do this stuff, right? I still want a quality effort, particularly for my honor students. So if you got this returned back and maybe you only got like a 5 out of 10, feel free to resubmit it and look at the feedback I gave you. That's totally fine, since we haven't talked about it yet. Okay. All right. Are we good on that assignment? Oh, here's a couple more students want in. Okay. All right, any questions on that? Okay, one more thing I want to talk to you about. Well, and then a couple brief announcements. If you look at the extended closure schedule, right? I want to point out something to you. So you guys are honor students, right? And I know we're away, but I still expect you to do a research paper, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen the requirements on that. What I want is six reliable sources, okay? In the past, you know, if we were together, I'd be really strict about those sources. Like, okay, you need 2 books, you need 2 articles, and you need 2 primary sources, right? What I'm going to request now is that you have 6 reliable sources, because, you know, we can't be out and about as much. You know, what kids usually do in the past is they would go to Ritter Library, get their books, and, you know, but circumstances are different. But I still want you to turn in some type of final writing to me. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is, let me get to the dates here. Hopefully you can see my screen here and you're seeing what I'm seeing. There's a reason why I bring this up. If you look at next week, okay, the assignment, the research project handout is already on Google Classroom. It's on the first post of the year. I'll probably do a separate post for it soon and move it to the top, right? So it's easier access. But what I want you to do is take a look at it early next week, okay? And start thinking about a potential topic, okay? What do you want to write a paper about, okay? And I've got some suggestions on there, but that list is not exclusive. You can write about anything from these eras, okay? And what we're doing is Cold War and up. So basically post World War II and up. So Cold War stuff, civil rights stuff, or any of the more recent stuff we've talked about. If some stuff in my lecture the other day interested you and you want to do more research on that, that would be great, okay? And even beyond that, maybe you want to research 9/11 or something like that, okay? So I am going to push you on this. I want it to be a 5 to 7 page double space paper, all right? So now notice 5 to 7 pages, so 5 is fine. And what I'm thinking about doing, if we don't come back, is making that paper due June 1st, and then you're done with the course, okay? Because I need time to grade them. Now, if we do come back, which is a big if at this point, you'll also have to do a presentation on that paper, right? Now, when it gets time to write the paper, um, if we're still out, that's all you'll be doing. Like you'll have a week or two to write the paper. That's what you'll be doing for me. You won't have any of these other assignments. It'll just be, this is it. This is your final grade. And you should be bugging me every day for help. Does that make sense? Okay. And kids, the reason why I still want you to do this is remember what it is really important to me that I teach you how to do. I want to teach you how to make an argument and support it. And I want you to be good writers. I know many of you are considering college. Most of you are probably planning on going to college as honor students. The one thing that students tell me that I was able to help them do was to become a better writer. And I don't want that to stop with you guys just because we're in this circumstance. Okay. So please understand that. And we'll be doing things in stages. So the first stage, if I can look at this, is start looking at potential topics. So you'll start doing that uh, really just early next week. Just take a look at it next week. So Tuesday, take a look at the assignment, start thinking about a topic. That's all you got to do. Okay. And then when we get to the 28th, I'm going to have you send me topics. Now, here, you know what? Here's what we'll actually do. First come, first serve. Remember when we did the book assignment in the fall? You got your first choice. If the early bird gets the worm, right? Okay, so first come, first serve. So if you start sending me topic names, if you're the first one to send me a topic, boom, you get it. Okay, you may want to send me a few selections just in case you don't get your first one, because I don't want everybody to do the same topic. I want it to be broad. Okay, so first come, first serve on the topics. Okay, any questions about that? That's the big one. Any
Can I
questions?
ask a question?
Absolutely.
So can the papers be on literally anything, or does it have to be like a formal historical topic?
Well, it's got to be an American history topic, James, because
Okay.
this is American history, and there are some
So we
suggestions.
can't do it on like Chinese history or something,
No, but
unless it involves America.
correct. Now, what you could do is, President Nixon will recognize China and will resume relations with communist China in the 1970s. So you could do it on something like that. You could do it on trade relations between the United States and China.
I'm not planning on doing. I don't know if I'm planning on doing anything China related
Right,
yet. I
right.
was just using an
Well,
example.
well, the point I'm trying to make is, sometimes kids want to do a world history topic, which is great. The world's a very global place. Uh, but I want it, since our course is American history, um, if they do something like that, I still want to have an American history connection. And so that's what I'll stress them to do, stress for them to do. Okay. And there are some, once again, there are topic suggestions on there, so that may help you. So that was a really good question. Now, here's the other thing I want to stress to you about the paper. I know the school has adjusted their grading scale, and I think that was a fine thing to do because we're all under stress. This is a weird situation. I can't teach you guys as effectively this way. I just can't. I'm trying, but it's hard. But I'm going to make this paper worth enough points that you can't get enough. You can't get an A if you don't do it. Does that make sense? I'm not saying you got to ace the paper, right? But if a student decides not to do it, I'm going to make sure that they still get a B. So that's how many points it's going to be worth. Okay, because I just don't think that's right. If a student decides not to do a paper, they shouldn't get an A in an honors course. That's just the way I feel. Okay, so that's how many points the paper is going to be worth. So now listen to what I said there. You can't get an A in this class if you decide to totally blow off the paper. If you turn in a bad paper, you may still get an A, right? But you got to at least do a paper. Hopefully they'll all be good, okay, and fun to read and be a good way to end the year. It'd be nice if we're back face-to-face discussing these. I don't know, based on news reports, if that's going to happen, which is depressing. But, you know, we just got to make the best of what we can. Any other questions? That's all I got, kids. What? Who was that? Was that Tanis?
Can we send you our topics as soon as today? We would like to, or should we wait next week?
Hmm. 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 Boy, that's a good question. What do you think?
I just already have a couple of pre-existing ideas in my head, and
Yeah.
I don't want anyone else to take them.
I'll tell you what. Go ahead and send it. That's fine. Yeah.
Valid.
Yeah. Yeah. What we've done in the past is I would assign kids to have a topic ready, you know, and I would, you guys know, I pass out the index cards and we would draw it and you got number one. Right? Can't do that right now. So, gosh, I miss doing that. Yeah, why not? Why not? Go for it. So, and, you know, if that ticks kids off, you know, you're just being assertive. So, other questions? Let me make sure I didn't miss anything in chat here. I don't think I missed any chat questions. Okay, kids. You know, let me just close with this. You know, I really do miss teaching you. That's not just lip service. You know, this Vermillion High School is like a second home to me. You know, I've spent a lot of time in those hallways, a lot of time in that classroom, and I really miss it. So, you know, I really appreciate the efforts that a lot of you are putting in. And, you know, look at the feedback I give you on assignments. And, you know, just continue to do your best and continue to have a desire to learn because learning is so important. Okay. I'm getting notices that I got to quit or I'm going to have to pay. So I'm going to end the meeting. If you have continued questions, please continue to contact me. And everybody stay well. And I hope I get to see you soon. If I don't have you in class again this year, it doesn't mean you still can't stay in touch and come see me next year, right? So, all right. Take care, kids. I'm going to end the meeting now.
Goodbye.
See you, Jacob.